Arg, ahoy, mateys, and welcome back to another episode of the Pittsburgh Pirates Out of the Park Baseball 25 series. And we have a series against the Milwaukee Brewers as we decide whether or not we are going to punt this season. We are about 3 weeks away from the trade deadline, and we are 10 games behind the division lead St. Louis Cardinals, who we got swept against in our last series. You see there, loss. Unfortunate. We made a little bit of ground back against the Mets with a split series and a 4-gamer there, but we're in dire straits. We're 10 games back in the Central. We are 10.5 back in the wild card, and I don't really foresee things changing too drastically too quickly. So chances are we are going to be heavy sellers. We are also going to be drafting at the end of this episode. So we'll do a quick look at that, and I'll give you some pointers on things that I look at for doing the draft. We have the 9th pick in that one. My goal is if you have a pick in the top 10, you would like to see, on average, that person become a regular, everyday player in your MLB organization. If you're not hitting that, you need to do a better job of drafting. So we'll see if we make it that far in this series. But let's go ahead and play game number 1 against the Brewers. It's going to be Roansy Contreras against Colin Ray of the Brewers, who's having a worse season in this game than he is in real life. A 4.59 ERA, 6-8 in 17 starts. So a pitcher we should be able to beat here. I was looking at, if we go back to our who's hot, who's not screen, Contreras has been on quite a downslide here, and I think if he has one more bad game, which will be this game that we play here, we might think about calling someone up. I was looking at our AAA guys right before this, and no one really jumped out to me except maybe Max Meyer. We could give the Quinn Priester experiment a go at the pro level too. I was also looking at our AA roster and saw that Anthony Solometo is doing quite well since he's transitioned to Altoona. I think he had, if we go to his game log here, he had one bad start when he first transitioned. Since then, he's given up under 2 runs, I guess under 1 earned in every single start he's had, though he hasn't made it past 6 in any except this one game here. But 3-0 in 5 starts in AA, so that's promising for our best left-handed prospect pitcher. We would like to see that continue as we move forward, but let's go ahead and jump into this Brewers game. You can see the edge slightly in favor of the Brewers in most areas, but all hope is not lost for us. Oneil Cruz is on a bit of a cold streak, so I'm actually going to move him out of that leadoff spot, and Ke'Bryan Hayes looks like he's a little tired here, so I'm going to probably put Xavier Edwards in at third for this one to give Ke'Bryan Hayes a day off. And I will actually move, let's move Nick Gordon into our coveted leadoff spot there. He's hitting 324, so that's a good spot for him. And then we'll put Oneil Cruz hitting, we'll have him hit 6. I like to keep him a little bit higher. I'll actually move Edwards there and Olivares in front of Henry Davis. All right, so mixing things around just a little bit there. Since we have a right here, it'll be a big string of lefties to start this game off. Hopefully we can rattle him. And let's go. Get into it. All right, so Ray pitching to Nick Gordon to start things off in Milwaukee. Looks like it's going to be an easy fly out to left field, and it is, and here comes the big block of text. Alright, so 1 down, here comes Brian Reynolds batting second. Makes contact, a grounder back to Ray, and he throws it over to first for the second out of the inning. Jack Sawinski in the 3 spot, and with the 2-2 count, makes contact up the middle, gets past short, and we have a base runner, 2-out single for Sawinski. Thinking about stealing here. go ahead and give it a go on our first pitch. Throws over to the base to keep him honest. And then he will go, and he will make it. So a successful steal for Jack Sawinski. Rowdy Tellez swings at the next pitch, and ooh, dive in play. Excellent by Bryce Terang, and that is the end. Or sorry, the top of the first, not the end of the first, because we got to get the Brewers up to bat here. Jackson Chourio up next. First batter of the game for the Brewers, the hot prospect. Making contact over to third base. Xavier Edwards throws him out, and that is one down. Sal Frelick hitting second. Makes contact out into center. Sawinski should be able to get to it, and he does. 2 up, 2 down. And William Contreras. Striking out. Contreras has a, Roansy Contreras, I should say, has a good first inning. Hopefully that will be a sign of things to come. Xavier Edwards leads off the top of the second. The switch hitting utility infielder grounds out to Ray to start things off. Oneil Cruz hit in 6th. Our second batter of the inning, and he strikes out. And Eddie Olivares hit by pitch, so the second straight inning with our 2-out batter making it to first. There's a single for Sawinski, a hit by pitch for Olivares, and we will go ahead and try and steal once again. And looks like he is in there safely. Let's see if Henry Davis can do anything. He cannot. Strikeout. Leaves the runner stranded. And Roansy Contreras back on the mound, pitching to Willie Adames. Hit out into center. 1 down. Bryce Hoskins up next. And shoots it out into foul territory. Henry Davis should be able to get to it, and he does for out number 2. Leading to Christian Yelich. Once one of the best players in the league. Certainly on a downswing, but still dangerous. Not there, though. Grounds out to first. And through 2, Sawinski has the only hit of this ball game. Connor Joe is our last hitter in the lineup, and he will lead things off with a single. So, our second single of the game, third base runner. This time with no outs, and Ray's having some trouble with his controls. That's the second batter he's hit now. Let's see if Brian Reynolds can do anything with it. He cannot. Strikeout. Sawinski on the first pitch makes contact. Could be a double play. Won't be. They'll just get the lead runner. Joe advances to third. Let's see if Tellez can bring someone in. They're going to pitch around him. 4-pitch walk. Which leads to Xavier Edwards. 2-2. Makes contact. Just a nice little Texas Leaguer right over the shortstop's head. And that is going to bring in 2. So some excellent small ball taking advantage of the walks. 3 hits, 3 walks in this game, 2 runs now. Oneil Cruz, let's see if he can get back on track. He cannot, strikes out for the second time this game, but 2 runs on the board. Let's see if we can hold it. J.D. Davis starting off the third for the Brewers. Grounds it, booted though by Gordon, and we have our first base runner for the Brewers in this one on the error by Nick Gordon. Bryce Terang up next, having a great season in real life. And in OOTP life, he will advance the runner over to second base. Just an awkward little single that made it right through the left side of the infield. Jace Peterson up now, and here comes Roansy. Looks like they'll bunt him over. We do get the out at third, so the sacrifice fails. Chourio up now. Full count, and he strikes him out. Let's see if Contreras can get out of this. Sal Frelick strikes him out. So great job by Contreras to get out of that jam. Had runners at first and second with no outs and escapes with no runs on the board. Now let's see if the bats can get things going again. Olivares grounds out, or no, did not ground out. Error by Adamus. Henry Davis up down, makes contact. Could be a double play, and it is. So making up for that error. Excellent play by Ray with the 1-4-3 double play. And now Connor Joe skies it up to the catcher. Contreras under that one. And that is the top of the fourth. Nothing happening. Contreras versus Contreras here. And the Brewers Contreras flies out to his Pirate counterpart, Henry Davis. One away. Looks like it's going to be a 4-pitch walk here by Contreras. And Rice Hoskins. Ooh, did we catch him stealing? We did, indeed. Interesting play there. Full count now. I think they expected contact there. That would be my guess. Weird time to send the runner. And Hoskins grounds out to end the inning. Still 2-0. Here comes Nick Gordon to lead off the fifth. Makes contact, shoots it out into center. Should be an easy play for Chourio, and it is. One down. Brian Reynolds up next. Has not done much of anything in this game. Shoots that out into the gap, but a sliding play by Christian Yelich. Excellent defense for the Gold Glove left fielder, and that's 2 down. Here comes our player of the game thus far, Jack Sawinski, skying out to his Brewers counterpart, Jackson Chourio, and that is out. Number 3. Still just 2 runs on the board. Haven't got a hit since the 3rd inning either, I believe, right? All right, let's see how Roansy does on the mound. Been great thus far. Looks like we won't have need to call anyone up. Knock on wood. J.D. Davis up next, and that is a strikeout. I think that's Contreras' 5th strikeout of the game. Sorry, just his 4th. 4th through 4 2/3. Terang will make contact, skies it up. Looks like Gordon will get to it, but it'll get called off by Oneil Cruz. And Contreras 4 strikeouts and none earned, just 1 hit allowed through 5. An excellent performance by a guy who's been on quite the cold streak. Tellez will start the inning with his 2nd walk of the game, and Xavier Edwards, our 2 RBI hero from the 3rd, makes contact, shoots it out into left, but Yelich diving in to grab it. Out number 1. Ray still in there, 88 pitches. And that is going to be a 2-run homer for Oneil Cruz, breaking that cold streak. That is out of here. 4-0 Pirates as Cruz doubles the lead. That was gone. Knew that was gone the second. It left his bat. And Hobie Milner in now. Ray is done. His first batter is Eddie Olivares. That's going to be close. I think that is gone, and it is just a little shorter than Cruz's, but the same exact location, just about. And that is back to back. 5-0 for the Buccos. All right, so Henry Davis strikes out. Connor Joe strikes out, so Milner recovers after that home run. It looks like he got injured there, looking at that. And let's see, is he done? Did not say there, I guess, if we click the Milwaukee substitutions. Looks like he's done. Wrist soreness day to day. We'll see if they take him out of the game. Contreras will hopefully finish this inning off unscathed to the QS. Lead off single out in the left field. Reynolds can't get to it in time, and Jace Peterson's on. He is a threat to steal, so we'll throw to first to keep him honest. And then I'm actually going to do a pitch out, just in case. And I guess it was a wild pitch out, which is not what you were hoping for there, so we just gave him the base on accident. And Chourio out into the gap. I think that's going to be an RBI double at the very least. Could be a triple. Chourio does have the legs to do it, and he does. So not a great start to the inning here. We might think about starting the bullpen now. So it looks like we have a big string of righties and then kind of a big string of lefties. So I'll get one of each. Wrong team, dummy. I'll get Barucki to be my guy against the lefties and Majensky for my righties. Keep Contreras in. He's still got a 4-run cushion here. So even if they do bring in Chourio, it won't be the end of the world. Strikeout to get the first out of the inning. A walk to Contreras. And then a strikeout to get out number 2. And could he strike out Hoskins? Nope. Brian Reynolds could get to it. It will be grabbed, snagged on the run to save the second run of the inning. And it is still 5-1 in favor of the Buccos. And that will probably be it for Roansy Contreras, but a great performance after 0-4 in his last 4 with an ERA around 8. Alright, so it looks like we start the inning with a single here. Is that Nick Gordon? It was. D.L. Hall, the relief pitcher. I'll go ahead and swing away. I was debating stealing, but that'll go right over the head of Terang, and we have men at first and second now. Let's see if we can keep things going with Sawinski here. He'll strike out, unfortunately. Rowdy Tellez up next. 1-1 count, and that is, I think that's out of here. It's going to be close. It is gone. That's a 3-run homer. And things are looking good for the Pirates. 8-1 now. And if we blow this one, this will be a loss of tragic proportions. Oneil Cruz had that huge home run in his last at-bat. Strikes out for the 3rd time of the game, but that home run was enough to make me happy with his performance either way. We'll get Barucki in now with the lefties coming up. I'll have Majensky sit. Hopefully the tiring doesn't affect his performance too much. But our on-fire lefty specialist against Christian Yelich. 1 up and 1 down as Brian Reynolds gets under it out in left field. J.D. Davis up next. He's on fire with the 2-0 pitch. Skies it. Oneil Cruz calling off Edwards, and that's out number 2. Bryce Terang up next. 1-0 pitch. And grounds it over to Cruz. Should be out number 3, and it is. And we are cruising. Sailing the 7 seas with the wind at our backs. Edwards starts things off. Should be an out to Chourio, and it is. 1 up, 1 down. Henry Davis up next. And he strikes out again. Not a great day for Henry Davis. Connor Joe, our last batter of the inning, possibly. But nope, he'll get his second hit of the game. Keeps things alive. Let's see if Nick Gordon can extend things. He does not. Grounds out, and they get the lead runner up at second. And I think I'll give Barucki this last left-hander. Might have him go a little bit longer. We'll see. 0-2 pitch. Grounds it. And Gordon puts him away. 1 up, 1 down. Chourio up. 1-2. Let's see how he responds. Big hit by the rookie, and that, I think, is out of here. It is. Clears the fence. Run number 2 for the Brewers. Cut the lead from 7 to 6. It's probably not worth it to get this lefty on lefty matchup against Frelick, but we'll do it now that we're here. Full count. Frelick skies it to Sawinski. Should be out number 2. And it is. And here comes Majunski. And hopefully he could just close out the game for us here. Grounder to short. Cruz throws over to first. And we have finished the 8th. Still up 6. And I'm just going to do the into RISP. Speed things up a little. It looks like we scored a run. Tellez hits in, is it Reynolds or Sawinski there? Let's take a look at the game log. Looks like Reynolds flew out, and then Sawinski got hit in by Tellez. Xavier Edwards strikes out looking. And Oneil Cruz, 1-1 count, makes contact, skies it. So we do score 1. That'll be it. And to finish it off, I'll do an until RISP. And we got it! So a big victory, raise the Jolly Roger. Pirates win, and a big divisional win too. So you like to see that. Contreras getting back on track with the 6 strikeouts. Player of the game, Rowdy Tellez, with that huge home run. Multiple RBI hits in that one. 4 RBI, 2 for 3 with 2 walks. Excellent game all around for everyone. Everyone on the team got a hit except for Henry Davis. Tough eyes for Oneil Cruz and Henry Davis in this one, both striking out 3 times. But nonetheless, we pick up a big W. More runs than we gave up hits. Always like to see that. And now let's see what the next 2 games have in store for us as we simulate against Peralta to get to the draft. All right, 14-game shutdown streak by Aroldis Chapman there in our game that his 14-game streak came to an end as he picks up the L. Unfortunate. Gave up 3. Looks like in the 8th inning there, the ball game was tied up at 3-3 at that point. So tough loss. Looks like what was it? Was Yelich? It was Yelich. And now we have an important message. All right, so information about the first-year player draft, which we'll get to in a second. Let's actually skip right ahead to that. We're going to have to do this before our game. And let's take a look. So here's the draft order, and if you look, there are some supplemental picks. Draft round negotiation, so you can set how many you'd like to negotiate if you want. I can hit recalculate player demands if I want to change the slot bonus, but I'm going to keep things as is. Mess around with this if you would like. It's your discretion, but one thing to check, the OSA mock draft will show you some supplemental picks after the first, and then it should be, for the most part, just things in order. If you want to kind of see where certain guys are going to fall, you certainly can. Looks like Travis Bazana, the guy I am trying to get if I can, is probably not going to fall to us, unfortunately. Another thing to pay attention to, if we go look at our draft pool, is anyone that is extremely hard to sign or probably demanding higher than our slot bonus, we probably should stay away from unless we don't mind burning our first round pick on someone that we are not going to sign. So keep that in mind. I have pre-scouted and added to my short list a couple guys that have all caps. So if you see the all caps, that is why they are there. I do have a short list called like Draft 2024 just because I wanted to have some guys to reference for my first pick. I've made my own personal little draft order that I'm going to refer to. You can make notes in the game if you would like. You can make player notes, all sorts of things. Sometimes I go pretty deep into that, but I just haven't had time to do that in this one. So we're just going to kind of wing it a little bit. I do have an idea of what I'm looking for to get here. Chances are we're probably going to target a first baseman here since that's the weakest we are organizationally, but there's some things we can do. The OSA mock draft has us drafting Tal Salthacine, I think is how you pronounce that. Or sorry, Ty Salthacine. If I'm wrong about that, please let me know. I apologize in advance to this young prospect. This is probably not the guy we're going to take because I believe he is one of our extremely hard guys. And if I look, where is Ty? I don't even see him on the thing over here anymore. I'm probably going blind though. Oh yeah, there he is. Yeah, so extremely hard, so probably not the guy we're going to take. I have this sorted by my scouting director's reports, but you can also switch to the OOTP reports, and you see it's a little bit differently. They really like this guy, Vance Honeycutt. The reason I do not like Vance Honeycutt, though, is because he is a right-handed power hitter, and as we learned earlier, that is probably the worst thing for us organizationally for our arena. PNC Park favors lefty power hitters. It does not favor righty power hitters. We want to stay away from those at all costs. So let's go ahead and get into it. We could import the draft results, but we'll just go ahead and start it. All right, and we can do an auto pick until our next pick, but I will just go pick by pick, and we'll see who the Guardians take with the first overall. And they went with J.J. Weatherholt, who on the mock draft was who they were anticipated to take. I won't keep referencing that for the rest of this now. I just look back to it when we get to our second pick. So Nick Kurtz was a guy I was hoping to get with our pick. Unfortunately, he goes second overall. Then we have Colorado next. They take our guy Travis Bazzana. So 0 for 2 on guys I was hoping to get. Oakland up next. They'll take Charlie Condon. Not a guy I was super interested in. Again, a right-handed, primarily a power hitter. The White Sox take Tommy White, who was a guy I was interested in. Or sorry, not a guy I was interested in. Sorry, that was the guy we were talking about. The righty, big power hitter. Fine with that. Royals up next. They take Connor Griffin. Another guy, I was a little bit iffy on him, as you can see. He doesn't really stand out in much of any area. Power would be the top spot, but again, he's a righty. Can play outfield pretty well, not particularly fast. So again, not a tough loss for us. I think we're 2 picks away. Vance Honeycutt was up next. Another guy, right-handed power hitter, not concerned. And before we get to the Pirates, it's the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and they will take Peyton Stovall, who was a guy I was interested in. Can play first, second, or third, primarily a contact hitter. Not terrible in power, but probably not going to expect more than 10 home runs with potential like that. But he's a college guy, comes from the University of Arkansas. Seemed like a pretty safe pick at 9, especially with the position versatility. He would have filled most of the boxes I'm looking to check. Unfortunately, he's not there for us, so we'll have to look at what is available. And right now, if we scroll through, sorted by potential, it looks like the best pick is probably Jack Caglione. Another first baseman. He hits lefty. We'll click on him in just a second as I reposition myself. So not great. Doesn't really stand out in any particular area, but decent enough. 21 years old, a college player. Seems like a safe-ish pick. You'd like to have someone with a little bit more potential in there, but he's close to pro ready, which is nice. The other guy we have is Boston Bateman, but he is an extremely hard guy to sign, so we probably would not be able to sign him. I do have him shortlisted, though, because I wanted to look at him going in the future. I think he has an interesting repertoire, and he throws lefty, so he's a guy that I wanted to follow his development and see if we can draft him later down the line somewhere. If I look, Hunter Hines is another guy that could be an option for us, another lefty lefty power hitter, and if I compare him to not Boston Bateman, but Jack Caglione, pretty similar as far as my scout's potential. Looks like it favors Hines just slightly. Not huge in either direction. With the weight advantage, you'd imagine that Caglione is probably a little bit stronger. I don't know if that's an actual factor. He looks like he's a little bit more pro ready now, but both of them look like, according to my scout, have similar-ish ceilings. So let's go back and use one of the tools we have available to us, which is we can ask our scout who he thinks we should draft. Scouting player recommendation is Ty Salfenstein, who is the guy who we talked about earlier that we did not want to take because his signability is extremely hard. So I will actually not follow my scouting director's recommendation there, primarily because of that extremely hard basis. As I look at who else is available, Fran Oshel is a guy, starting pitcher, not quite someone that I would want to take with the 9th overall pick. I would like to see if he could fall to me in the 2nd round. Especially drafting a pitcher with the 9th overall pick here seems like a stretch given how deep our pitching prospects are. According to the mock draft, South Scene is here. The 2 first basemen we were looking at, Caglione is projected to go 21 to the Twins. The other one was... Who was the other one? It was Hunter Hines. Where is he projected? Looks like he's projected to go a little bit later. So he's projected to be a mid-second round pick, which makes me feel a little bit safer about taking Caglione here. If I look at some of these other guys, no one really stands out. I would say this probably isn't a standout draft class. It's definitely not a standout draft class as far as pitching goes, for sure. David Hogg II. Fabio Peralta, I like him because he has a cool name, and he hits lefty. Another thing we could do here is sort by, or sorry, not sort by, but change our view to batting potential and sort by a specific stat we would want, like power potential, and you can see some of the better power hitters. You see Hunter Hines ranks at the top there, as does Caglione. If we wanted to see like avoid strikeout potential, you can see South and Scene very high in contact, very high on avoid strikeouts, so that's why he would be a guy you would want to target with this pick. But I think I feel good here making the decision I'm going to make here by not taking him. So I'll go back to default, sort by potential, and we will take first baseman Jack Caglione. Drag him into that position, hit draft player, and I'm happy with that decision. All right, now auto draft. I'm just going to auto draft a few picks into here. Carter Johnson goes, Brandon Montgomery goes. I want to see if Hunter Hines goes, if South and Scene goes, or if Oshel goes before my next pick. That's why I'm kind of simulating through this. Not super necessary. I could just go straight to my next pick. So there's South and Scene to the Brewers at 18. Hopefully they're not able to sign him, because that would be good value for them. The Pirates have passed on guys that they didn't want to sign for money before, and he ended up being a Hall of Fame catcher. Anthony Silva goes next. Owen Hall. So that's the first pitcher off the board, I believe, Owen Hall. Dante Nori, Drew Downs. So after the first pick, it kind of gets a little bit murky. Everyone's pretty good. The Astros took my Fabio Peralta. Unfortunately, I didn't expect him to fall to me, but oh well. Slade Caldwell goes to the Diamondbacks. That'll be a tough guy for them to sign. Aiden Harris to the Rangers. Ryan Sloan, the second pitcher to the Diamondbacks. What pick are we even in? We're in the supplemental rounds now. Joey Oakey. So we got some pitchers going now. So Oshel might go be great if he could fall to us. There goes Hunter Hines. So earlier than the mock draft projected him, I think they had him around like second round, 20th pick. There goes Eric Parker. And we're up. Are we up? Did we have a... we did. I didn't even notice that we had a supplemental round pick. I am a terrible general manager. Oh well. All right, so our scouting director says we should be taking Anthony Trelongo, who is also, I believe, who the mock draft had us taking at that pick too. Let's take a look at Anthony Trelongo. So pretty solid overall. He's looks like an Auburn player, good contact, good bat at ball and play. Not great in any of these other categories, but certainly acceptable. He can play catcher, second, and third, so a bit of position versatility, though he's not great at anything. Let's see if I can find him down here and see. So it's a hard on signability, so he is signable. I don't feel great taking him there, but I don't feel terrible about it. I'm just kind of seeing who else we have available here. It's early enough in the draft where I trust my gut more than the computer. Here's kind of an interesting player that's available. Ben Ryland, high school, hitting .426 in high school, plays second, short, center, hits left, good at projected at avoid Ks. Even as a high school guy, that contact and avoid Ks is very high, higher than you would expect for an 18-year-old. Let's see what Ben Ryland, what his signability was. The one downside to high school guys is usually they will be less signable because they're willing to go to college, and I've completely lost him here somehow. Ben Ryland, there he is. Yeah, so extremely hard, so that's really not on the table, but I will actually shortlist him so we can keep an eye on him going forward. I think I'm going to settle with Oshel here. I think he's as good of a pitching prospect as we're going to get at this point in the draft. And again, none of these guys really jump out to me. Let's check out Theo Glilin. He's fast, plays shortstop, not a necessity for me. Mateo Gray, another guy I don't feel great about. Yeah, no one in this draft class screams to me a guy I gotta get. Christian Hamilton, he's hard. He'd prefer to go to college, I guess. He's enrolled in the University of Miami. It's like a slightly worse version of Ben Ryland. I'm just going to go with my gut here and take Oshel. We'll draft him. And then we'll see where we go. Auto draft. David Hogg. Levi Sterling. Tanner Witt. So no one taken any of those guys I was talking about. Probably because of the signability factor. Puig. So we are up now, and our scouting director says to take Trelongo again. And I think he was an extremely hard, right? No, he's not extremely hard. He's hard. So at this point, I think the upside here for a player like this, you can see he's pretty strong in all cats, not weak in anything. He's only 19. If we can't sign him, not landing a second-round pick isn't the worst thing in the world. And he's hard, not extremely hard, so it could be doable. So I'll go ahead and draft him, and we'll keep things going. Now I'm just going to auto-draft my next pick and see what my scouting directors recommend for me. So Pierce Coppola, looks like he is a lefty who is injured. He's going to get Tommy John surgery. My scout likes him. He's got a fast curve and a splitter. Could be a guy with enough upside to try and stash. You look, most of these guys are starting pitchers. Then you get into the 2-star guys. So you're not really going to find anyone who's going to be an organizational game changer here. At this point, it'll be mainly just lucking into your farm system working properly. Arnold Abernathy, nicknamed Jay. Don't know why his nickname's Jay. He must partake in recreational activities to earn a nickname like that. Left-handed hitter. Not great in anything, but he's got speed. 425 in high school is pretty good. But doesn't project to be anything good. Let's see what my scouting director recommends for me. They recommend William Schmidt. Looking at him. He's got a fastball, curveball, changeup. Curveball is definitely his best pitch. Has decent stuff. He definitely need to work on his control. If we look at him, William Schmidt is a 2.5-star guy. So he's hard, not extremely hard. Again, a guy that we could finagle into wanting to sign for us. His stats were good enough where I think I'll go ahead and draft him and try and make an offer. And then we'll just continue auto draft until next pick. We've lost our injured guys there, so any hope we had taking a chance on one of them is gone, but it doesn't matter. Connor Schuss, our next guy, a switch hitter. Not spectacular or anything, not great in anything. He's 19. His signability is extremely hard, which I don't like. Do scouting recommendation for a specific position like first base. Now he likes Tommy Hopf. And again, another switch hitter. Decent stats. Is his signability hard? And it's actually very easy. So let's go ahead and draft him. I like that safer pick there. Someone who could have some potential future. It looks like he can play left or right too. At this point, if they make your pro roster, that's a luxury. So nothing you need to be too concerned about. Jack Costello, our next projected guy. I'm just kind of glancing through to see what their stats look like if I feel okay drafting them. I don't feel great about that. Let's see why Pierce George is no one's looking at him, even though he's very easy. Gage Jump, another guy. My guess is, oh, there you go. So I was apparently on OSA and not my head scout, so that changed some things for sure. Blake Bambrick, I don't know why this is 1.5 and 2. That makes no sense to me. Nick Abram. So if I switch back to where the scouting OTP, who was the guy? Pierce George. What did my scout think of him? Because I liked fastball, slider, change. His stuff and movement don't really translate to a guy that would be able to do much at the pro level. A 1.45 ER or whip in college isn't great. He can hit too, I guess. Plays first base and third base. My assumption would be that his hitting ratings are not very good. They're not. They're not terrible though. It's good, interesting. I'll go ahead and take him. He seems like a fun guy to draft. Gotta switch back to OTP here. Why not? Let's get fun. All right. We got a ways to go here. Boston Sasquatch Bateman, extremely hard. So this is the guy who's really good. Shouldn't be on the board, but no one's going to be able to sign him. So let's just sign him or draft him. Why not? It's late enough where if we somehow were able to sign him, that's a huge steal. And if not, it doesn't really matter, right? We're what? We're in like the 7th round right now. I'm just hoping for the best at this point. So, seems like a fine enough prospect at 17 years old. Probably not going to develop, but why not? We'll draft him. And we'll continue to auto pick. If you find all this very boring, which you might at this point, you could just auto complete the draft or a specific round. We'll just keep looking at some of the guys we're drafting just for a bit. One thing I do like to do after I do my drafts is to make a short list of all those guys so I can keep a track of my specific draft classes. There's a menu in here that you're able to look at that stuff too, but I find it less challenging doing the short list than navigating the menus in this game, so take that for what it's worth. All right. I think at this point it's slim pickings. Who is our guy here? G. Allen instead of G. Allen. We don't really like him as a pick. At this point, I'm just gonna wing it. We're gonna auto complete the draft. I'm fine with it at this point. Round 8. I've received a personal message. So our draft negotiations have now begun, which we can find under negotiate with draftees, and you can see we can make an offer to these guys and hopefully get them to sign. So you see Fran Oshel, his slot was 243, but the demand was only 1.1, so that's great. Negotiate. We'll do set to demand and submit. And hopefully I didn't blow my entire budget. Submit. 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 And Boston Bateman will decline that offer, but we'll see. We'll see. So a couple guys that are asking for much lower. So that seems fine. This is a little bit higher than I'd like to pay for him, but I like to hit this prospect. So we'll do it. Why not? $300,000 is going to be the end of the world. Even though we are a bit of a penny pinching team, right? All right, so Jake Junis will be the last pitcher in this series going up against JT Brubaker. We'll go ahead and sim that game and then end this video. And we take the L, so we do lose the series, unfortunately, which I think puts us back even farther. Brubaker had a rough start. Hoskins destroyed us, 3 for 5. No homers, though. Looks like the hitting never really got anything going. Oneil Cruz did hit a home run, though, so maybe he's not on the cold list anymore. We switch to our mail and news. So Tommy Hopf has signed with our organization. Add him to the roster. And we'll do one last look at the team home screen. We are now 11.5 back. Sigh. And down here we are 11.5 back. So we lost a game in the wild card and a game and a half in the division as we lose our 2 simmed games against Milwaukee. And it's leaning heavier and heavier to sell, which will at least make the trade deadline a little bit more fun for us. We have the All-Star games being announced soon, so I'm actually going to do my All-Star voting in the next video. We'll take a look around the league and see how we are at about the halfway point. And really fast, I will just go ahead and look at the statistics to give you a quick look. So you see Shohei Ohtani and Matt Olson appear to be on pace to break 60 home runs at this point. We'll see how that lasts. Vlad Guerrero killing it in the batting average game. Acuna has the highest WAR. Tristan Casas is slapping the skin off the balls. And if we look at pitching leaders, this tells you a little bit less. Strider with the highest WAR, 197 strikeouts. Anything else catch my eye here? Kyle Freeland is having a rough go of it. Kyle Hendricks looking great with 12 wins. But yeah, just a quick look at everyone. We'll do the deep dive with the All-Star voting in our next video as we play the Chicago. Is this the Chicago White Sox? Yes, it is. So we'll be playing the Chicago White Sox, and we'll do All-Star voting in the next video. Thanks for watching this one, as always, and go Bucks.